It's sometimes I think you paint yourself in a corner, and it would have been better if you'd had a chance to think it out. But also, that's what I like about it. You know what I mean? It's like there's a bunch of undiscovered countries that I haven't been to, and I haven't even gone there yet. It's all these years. I don't know. It'd be fun to find out.
Yeah. Okay, we've reached the halfway point in our Arun Mehta Show special. I just want to let you know you're listening to the Arun Mehta Show on my blog, www.arunmehta.co.uk. Find me on the Twitter page at twitter.com/Arun Mehta Show. And also, I just want to pay the bills as well for the Hey Arnold fans as well. If you want to check out the Hey Arnold Wikia, which is the encyclopedia for all Hey Arnold information, it's heyarnold.wikia.com, unless you're still listening to this show, coming from Kerry Bartlett himself. And also, if you want to check out our effort to save the jungle movie as well, find us on Facebook. Just put in Save the Jungle Movie, 100,000 people, and you'll be able to find us there as well. And also, if you're from Britain, you can also check out our subdivision, which is facebook.com/Save the Jungle Movie UK. So we're pretty widespread, and there's a lot of ways to find us, so check us out if you ever get the chance to do so. Okay, so let's continue on with our show. Now we're going to move on to the two movies. One was made and one wasn't. And there's three questions in regards to Hey Arnold, the movie, which people want to know about. And these were the most most asked questions, which I wanted to put to you. The first one is, did Brainy know about Arnold and Helga's kiss at the top of the FTI tower?
Well, I would say yes, because Brainy knows everything. Brainy's a very magical character. Brainy kind of is magical in the sense that when Helga has all of her most intense emotional kind of monologues, how he kind of magically is just standing there behind her. I think she kind of must conjure him, with the intensity of her feelings, and so he sort of just arrives. So that makes him kind of magical and kind of, to me, kind of all-knowing. And yet, whatever. He's also completely random. So sure. Yeah, he must have known.
He must have known. Okay, then. Next question. What was the inspiration behind the Shek character, the villain of the movie?
Yeah, Paul Sorvino is so great. I loved him as an actor. And I don't know if we thought of Paul all along, but we just thought like a guy who's both charming and really dangerous and menacing, like a guy who would be a lot of politicians, they end up there, they get there because they're sort of telegenic.
Oh, don't get me started on politicians.
Yeah, and they just sort of become, they look great on TV, and they're very charming, and they say stuff, and they make you believe it even if it's not true. And so that's what we thought. He was sort of an executive and a very charming bad guy who, even when you meet him, Gerald, when they meet him, Gerald thinks, "Wow, he sure looks good in a suit." Man, that guy's great. And at the same time, they know he's the villain. They're going to have to take out. So that's kind of all we had for him. Just like we wanted a villain who was charming.
Okay. Last question for Hey Arnold the movie, and also for Shek as well. Do you think Shek would have made an appearance in the Hey Arnold TV show somewhere down the line?
That would be funny. It turns out, he was very involved in Arnold's neighborhood. His ancestors were turned back in a battle there. So it's sort of been, it's a sore spot for him, and he was really involved. So although he went off to prison, who knows how long he stayed in jail?
Yeah.
I don't know what would have happened with
I don't know. I'd imagine all the antics.
That's really funny that I said that. I almost said Shrek.
Shrek. Oh yeah, you almost said Shrek.
We had a test screening of Hey Arnold the movie at Paramount a couple months before it was released, and the screening went really well, and that made Paramount. The kids really liked it, and the parents who brought it, and Paramount was really excited about how it went. And but a kid came out. I was standing in the doorway as the kids were coming out. I was like, "How'd you like it?" And this little kid said, "I liked it. I like Shrek." And down the stairs he went. I was like, "No, it's Shek." And then I thought, "Oh, you idiot! You've named this character something that sounds too much like another character that's more famous.
Yeah.
That's not going to be good."
Okay. Well, let's move on to the movie that never was made, and that was the Jungle movie. But hey, you never know. We might be sitting here one day talking about when the Jungle movie was made and everything like that. So
Exactly.
Who knows? Okay. First question: the original script for the Jungle movie. How many people wrote it?
The first draft was written by myself and Steve Vixton, and then after that, I did several more drafts just by myself, and then the last thing we did was John Greenberg, John wrote several episodes, a bunch of episodes of Hey Arnold. He took a pass at it, and then I took a pass at it. Like we were sort of like, well, I remember it was kind of stalling with Paramount, and they wanted to add another voice to it. So John Greenberg and I did the draft as far as it got.
Okay, then. So, well, that was like 2 or 3 people that were working.
Yeah, ultimately, right.
Yeah, quite a few people. Okay, then. Next question. What year does the Jungle movie take place? And is it in the spring or in the summertime that they actually go to San Lorenzo?
Let's see. I think it would be summer because it was like, in the original concept, it was at the end of their 4th grade year, and they all went in the summer. It was like Arnold won an essay contest about San Lorenzo, and they as the winners, the class gets to go to San Lorenzo. But you know what? I have to say at this point, I don't really think if Nickelodeon said to me tomorrow, "Hey, you get to make the Jungle movie, let's go," I think I would sort of start from scratch. So in a way, when we're talking about this, it's sort of important to keep it in a kind of a historical context. When I was writing those drafts, it was more than 10 years ago. And when we did that development where Raimi Muskies did a bunch of storyboards, I just feel like all that stuff is pretty moot at this point because I don't even know where the original development. I have some of the original development materials, but Nickelodeon kept the rest. It all just went into boxes.
Yeah, I'll totally relate with you there, Craig.
I bet you $100 they couldn't find it. And so my feeling is this: if we were going to do the Jungle movie, I would start over. I really would. I would. There's a few things about it that I would keep. It's completely wide open to me what the answers to that question is.
Yeah.
You know, that was then and this is now.
Yeah, I'll totally relate to you, Craig, because I've got some fan fictions. I used to write fan fictions about Star Fox, you know, the Nintendo franchise, and a lot of Star Fox fans still say, "Oh, well, you know, you only half finished them." You know, it's like, "Are you going to continue doing them?" And it's like, you know, but these fan fictions were written years ago. It's like we're talking like 2003, 2004, and it's like, you know, if I started writing them again, I'd have to start from scratch because I have no idea where. I was a kid at the end of the day. You know, I had no structure. You know, I'd have to start from scratch and figure out where on earth I'd gone with the stories.
You know, the way I feel about Hey Arnold, the series now compared to then, things have changed so much. I feel like now I have a much better idea of what the whole 100 half hours really means because I wasn't in the middle of doing it. And also, at the end of it, it was such a struggle. So much of it was a struggle about trying to keep my crew there.
Yeah.
And so which of course made it a kind of a tense negotiation and all this difficulty. None of that stuff exists anymore. Everyone's gone on their merry way. They're scattered all over the place doing a bunch of different things. I have no idea who of that original crew would be able to join me if I was to do future stuff. I don't know what would happen with the actors, etc. So it's much more like, oh, okay, then that's a whole new assignment.
Yeah, I was going to say
the only things that exist are the 100 half hours that exist, and the whole history of Arnold and Helga and his parents, and you know what's been set up in the journal. I'd have to respect that because that exists.
Yeah,
and probably to a lot of kids, the journal's probably kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
you know, it's sort of like a big puzzle that has to be solved. But you know, that's kind of cool though. I mean, it would be fun to get the job now because it's been so long. I feel like it's kind of it's wide open.
Yeah. Okay, next question. Would you agree to write the Jungle movie story, that basically is the story, if Nickelodeon asked you to write a book or a graphic novel rather than a movie?
Sure. I mean, the way I feel is that any kind of further Arnold stuff that Nickelodeon was willing to do, I would do, because any version would be fun to go there. And any kind of closure I'm aware that the fans are sort of dying for closure. So any kind of closure that I could do, I would do.
Absolutely. Okay, then, next question. Since Hey Arnold is back on TV again and getting good ratings on the 90s or all that, and also it's been back here on the UK as well, we've been getting it every 9 o'clock until it was replaced by Ren and Stimpy, because they usually recycle the Nicktoons here, so basically we still get some of the 90s stuff still. But anyway, go back to the question.
Yeah, that was really the 90s are all that little movement was really cool. It was fun to see the way Nickelodeon treated it. You know, I liked the way that they were doing, the way it was sort of trending, and people were there was a lot of ways that fans could respond after something aired, and And just, it's really cool to see everything. The way things are playing in 2012 is Nickelodeon's very media savvy about it too. And
Yeah,
so
they
must have. I'm sure that everybody at Nickelodeon was aware of how Hey Arnold was trending and how much people were glad.
Anyway, the fans are going to kill me if I don't ask the original question, which is that, with that being said, with Hey Arnold back on TV again and getting good ratings, will there be a chance of the Jungle movie being animated?
Well, I'll tell you this. This is a bit of a scoop because it just happened. I had a meeting at Nickelodeon this week, and
oh my goodness,
I met with my old friend Margie Cohn, who is an exec and one of the people at the top of the organization, and we talked about that. And the other news at Nickelodeon is a guy named Russell Hicks is now the animation exec out here, and I know Russell too. He's an old friend. I knew him. They're both Margie and Russell go way back. Margie's been with Nickelodeon since I don't know, forever.
Very interesting.
20 years she's been there, and they're both great, and they're friends, and we had a very friendly. I met with both of them in the last couple of weeks, and we had a really friendly meeting. And they both said that they would ask. They would ask up in the organization, and they said it's complicated, of course.
Oh yeah.
It's a big franchise that sort of goes across a bunch of platforms, and they all have to talk to each other about what that even means. But my point is this: I met with them, and I just said, everybody was talking about how they would like to kind of get back to their roots at Nickelodeon and their roots about what their shows are and what they have to say. And they had really, really nice things to say about Hey Arnold. And I thought, well, this is cool. It's so nice to have a dialogue with them. And all I did was tell them my willingness to do whatever with the franchise, and they were both really nice about it. So, having said that, now I don't want people to
get too excited.
That means we're making the Jungle movie. I really have to emphasize that I've had many meetings over my whole career where I came out of the meeting going, far out, man, it's on. And people were just like, great, we'll start tomorrow. And nothing came of it.
Yeah.
I really want to make that point. There are many, many times that you have a really fantastic meeting and you just go skipping down the street thinking that everything's on.
I tell you, I've had job interviews where that's happened.
Having said that, it was really, really nice to hear such nice things about Hey Arnold and me from these two old friends at Nickelodeon. So, it's a really cool time where I feel like there's a lot of possibility, and we'll just have to see what happens.
If the Jungle movie was made today, would you have to replace all the voice actors?
Well, it depends. It depends on what the Jungle movie ends up being. If it happened where they were older, then I could use the original voice actors. If it happened when they were in the summer of fourth grade, I'd probably have to recast everybody, even Franny, which would really suck.
Yeah, that'd be disappointing.
Franny doesn't sound like she's even remotely she could play a teenager, I'll put it that way, but I don't think she could play a 9-year-old anymore.
I was going to say, in the magical world of auto-tuning and all sorts of Adobe Audition, is there no way you could probably tweak with the actors' voices to make them basically younger, computer generated ones?
I know that the digital effects get better and better, but still, it's especially with the boys. Once they've turned into teenagers, it's sort of like they have a new voice.
Yeah.
And that even auto tuning can't really solve. And trust me, I've been looking into that. We're going through that with Dinosaur Train. Both Buddy and Don, the two boys on the show, both those boys, their voices did the big turn. And it's the very same thing. We're asking all those same questions and trying to figure out what to do about it. But
who knows, mate?
Anyway, I wouldn't say no to anything.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. Who knows what would happen?
Can you tell us anything about the Cora Zone? Basically, this magical element that was seen in the journal. Is it magical?
I'm sorry. Is it what?
Is it magical?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's something in the world of the Jungle movie. By the time you get up to the mountains in the sort of this Republic of San Lorenzo is a fictional place, kind of where Costa Rica is.
Yeah.
And where if you get up into these mountains, it's that kind of magical world where you've really left the grid, and even that's kind of what's fun about when I was sitting there making Parents' Day and I was trying to figure out where Arnold's parents disappeared. I wanted it originally. I was very vague when I sold the show. I was like, they're in Africa or something. They're shooting documentaries or wildlife films, and they're out. That's what they do.